Now, I strongly recommend that before you make any changes to your document, that you quickly check it out and then check it back in. That way, it can be your original without any changes made to it. Because wouldn't you want an original, something you can go back to and refer that, hey, this is what we started with. Right now, since I already made changes to it, I don't get that option unless I click cancel. And I discard the checkout, and it says you have changes that haven't been checked in yet. You sure you want to undo the checkout? Say yes. And then now, if I want to make any changes to it, I can check it out. In fact, if I close out of here and I come up here and click on the refresh button, you can see it no longer has the checkout little green icon there, so I can do it all over again and do it right. Well, when I say right, I mean that with my recommendation that you check it out and check it in really quick without making any changes. So that's going to be the first version as your original document. So let's go ahead and click on the ellipsis, check it out, and then click on it, and then just go ahead and click on the ellipsis, and check it back in. What kind of version would you like to check in? We'll just leave it as the minor version here, just the draft. Retain your checkout after checking in. No, I'd like to actually check in the comments. We'll just say this is the original. So click okie dokie, and that's it. Now let's go ahead and check it out, make changes to it, and then check it back in. In fact, let's have Carrie check it out and have her make changes to it, but before she checks it in, let's see if we can check it out so I can show you what it looks like when somebody else has it checked out and you try to check it out. Okay, Carrie says that she checked it out, the co-author SharePoint document, but I wouldn't know any better unless I came up here and either refreshed it to see if it was checked out or try to check it out myself and see if it prevents me. Let's go ahead and try to check it out ourselves by clicking on the ellipsis button, clicking on the build button there. Now you'll notice that it says check in. Well, I haven't checked it out. Somebody else has it checked out. But if I try to check it in and say retain your checkout after checking in, and I say no, I just want to check it in and click okie dokie, there you go. That's where it finally comes to fruition. It doesn't let you know beforehand, but it tells you now after you try to do something that, hey, this has been checked out by, and then it gives me the person who checked it out. Thank goodness it has their name as their username here, carriecaseykershaw.com. And the date and time. Do you want to override this checkout now? I didn't know I could do that. Well, you can set up your settings for SharePoint if you're the boss to be able to override people. In any case, I'll click cancel and click cancel. And then come up here and click on the refresh button. And there you go. Now you can see when you hover over it, it's been checked out to Carrie Heffernan in that little pop-up there. So let's go ahead and have her make changes and check it back in. And then let's go ahead and check it out ourselves to see what the change is. Make some changes then ourselves and then go ahead and save it. All right. She says that she checked it back in, but if I didn't know any better because I haven't refreshed my SharePoint site here, if I go ahead and click on the ellipsis button, click on ellipsis here, hey, it says I can check it out. Well, at least at that level here, it lets me check it out. But if I come up here and click on refresh, just so I can see if it's been checked out without having to go through all that and find out that I can't check it out because it requires me to check it in, meaning that somebody else has it checked out. Phew! Let's just go ahead and click refresh, and then it allows us to check it out. So if I click on it and say allow and say yes, and do it this way to check it out, that's fine. Go ahead and click on checkout. And then by default, it automatically puts me in the print layout mode. And we'll make one of our changes here something minor. So if I right click on ready, go to synonyms and say, okay, this isn't really going to work, but I think you'll get the idea, where it says the town's ghostly white and held ready or prepared. That just doesn't sound poetic, but in any case, we want to make something minor. Then come up here and click save, and then file to check in, and we'll say this is minor, and you can just say it was a minor change or be specific about the version comments. You can say from, and then click okie dokie, and then close out, click refresh. And now finally, the moment of triumph to actually see the version history of this single document here. Go ahead and click on its ellipsis or build button, click on it again, and go to version history. Select that, and there we go. And you can see here that, well, the first major version was checked out by Carrie. She didn't make any comments. And so it's a good idea that when you upload something that you want to be able to keep a version history of, check it out and check it in really fast and put in the comments that this is the original. So that way you don't have, well, an issue like you see here where I'm like, okay, is this really the original? The only way to find out is if you go ahead and actually click on the link. But let's not do that. We know that Carrie here made some changes to the poem where she deleted the paragraphs 2 and 3. And so if you want to verify that, just go ahead and click on the link. The date and time, allow it, say yes. Let's see, lightning streaks across the clouds, flight, the mare snorts in fear. Yeah, she deleted a couple of paragraphs. There's a couple in between the two because this one doesn't flow to that one. So great, let's go ahead and close out of that. And for other options about the version, just go ahead and hover over it, click on the drop-down arrow. You can go ahead and view it. It doesn't mean that you're actually going to view the document. Like for example, when I click on view, it brings up the window that allows me to delete the item version, restore the item version. You can see in a pop-up, restore this version of the item so it is the current version. I'm going to go ahead and close out. I like the way it is. But you can see at any one point, let me click on it again and go back to the version history. As you're going along, you got snapshots at different points in time with either major updates or minor ones. And then you can take a look at it by clicking on the link and verify that's something that you like. And if you like this one, or if I like this one, although that's the original, but you can imagine if you had 50 of these and you like the 12th one, you can set the 12th one to be the current version and say, okay, we bypassed all these other changes. Let's just focus on that one because I think out of the 50, that one's the best one to come to a consensus on and either say that we like it or just scrap the whole thing. In any case, it does help you when it comes to keeping track of all the changes at different points of time without starting out with one and then making tons of changes so much that you don't even recognize the document anymore, where you went to the point of no return and now at least you have many points of return as you work along the way by using the SharePoint versioning feature.